taking my four-wheeler? Hey, come back here. You stop back. Come back here. Where'd they get you? Man. Hello everybody, welcome to Peaks Peak. I'm Lucas, and today we're going to share with you our fence building project. We probably going to have to split all this footage up into a couple of videos, but we're going to share with you the building of the whole project. A whole lot of the footage is going to be time-lapse, but we'll try to maybe overdub some explanation of what's going on, or stop and insert a little bit of explanation into our process. This is definitely not a how-to video. This is a how we did it video. Some of it worked, some of it didn't, some of it we had to redo. This was our first time building fence, but me and Cameron got out here and just put in the work. We dug the post holes by hand. We drove all the T-posts with the old-fashioned post driver, and we stretched our wire with a chain and 2x4s. So, well, ended up being 2x6s, but we'll get into that a little bit later on in the video. Anyway, hope you enjoy the process. Hope you enjoy what we did, and if you have a good laugh at some of the things that we did that aren't going to work, be sure and share with us so we'll know what to watch out for and what to do better next time. Appreciate you all watching. Hope you enjoy the video. Stick along. So we started out by setting all of our corner posts. We set all our corner posts so that we could kind of get the layout for the field and how we wanted everything to set up, and then that also give us a way to pull string between the posts, and then we could have a straight run, make sure we get all of our posts in a row and get them lined up well. It always helps to have a teenage son that you can trade off the post hole diggers with when you get tired. Used 8-foot posts for our corner posts, and we tried to dig our holes at least 30 inches deep for all of our corner posts. Some of them ended up being about 3 foot deep, especially the ones we hung our gates on. We dug those about 3 foot deep. While Cameron was digging, I decided to take the Kubota and start cutting the line where we're going to have a trail that leads around the fence there. So we tried to clean up a little bit of the rock and debris and get started on that trail there. We used about a half a bag of fast setting concrete in the bottom of each hole. I don't know if that's really recommended or not, but it just kind of made it quick and easy to get the post stable while we were working. That stuff dries in about 20 minutes to give you some stability, so it worked out pretty well for us. Ran into quite a few nice rocks while we were digging our post holes, and some of those we had to dig out with a shovel, and some of the posts we had to just relocate a few inches to the left or the right because we had no way to get through them. On this particular hole there were big rocks, and then there were roots from a tree that we had cut out before, so we ended up having to move the post further down the hill, and that meant that our H-brace post that we had left, which was a 6.5 footer, wasn't long enough to reach, so we ended up having to go back and get an 8-foot post to finish that one up. This is what happens when you ask Caden to go get the camera for you. Well, we're probably a little over halfway done with our fence now. We've gone 300 feet across the front of the property line here, and then about 150 feet deep. So we've got to go across the backside, which is not actually all the way across. It's only about halfway because we've got electric wire down on the other end that we're not going to get into changing out right now. So we're going to go down to the trail that goes up the hill, and we'll put in a gate there, and then we'll go down there across the end by the driveway, put us another gate in there. So making some pretty good progress. This may seem like a small job to y'all, but it's a pretty big job for me. I've not built fence before, so kind of learning as I go, but I'll show you what we did to kind of clean up this piece of property and turn it into a pasture here. Now, of course, across the front here, not really a big deal there. One of our previous videos, we cut some trees out right there in the ditch line, kind of cleaned that line up, but then coming down this side, not too big of a deal, other than this is an old road bed, so there were two posts that didn't want to drive because they were going through all kinds of rock and stuff. But on the back side here, everything that you see is brown was covered with briars and trees and all that, so we cleared all that off. The wood pile down there is what became of everything that was in the way there. So we're going to run the fence right through there on the hillside, just behind those big trees, and that way we'll have a little bit of shade in the pasture. And then we're going to put a run-in type shed over there next to where that barrel's sitting, to give a little bit of shelter out here in the pasture. So I think it's going to make a pretty nice little pasture for one or two animals anyway. That, my friends, is what the problem is with digging so close to a stump. You gotta cut out roots with a mattock, and I was graced with the presence of several big rocks to go along with it, so that made a nice hole to dig. So I wanted to dig my post hole close to where my old T-post was for my electric fence, so that I could just restring the wires to the new wooden post. Unfortunately, I dug a little too close, and then my T-post wanted to fall over, so had to drive another T-post in and wire the two together temporarily until I could get my post set and get everything relocated. huge thank you to my neighbor Jim, who loaned me the nice trailer so I could go get my 16-foot gates and my rolls of wire. That came in real handy. Here I'm getting started on my H-brace tension wires, and I ended up just using some leftover 12 gauge high tensile electric fence wire. It's not the strongest of wires, but it worked for the most part. I did also kind of scrape by with a crimping tool that is a pair of bolt cutters that I had laying around, and I actually just flattened the edges on it just a little bit so it didn't cut through my little crimping ferrules, and it ended up working out pretty good. Alright, so I was just explaining where an H-brace gets its strength from the tension wires and the actual H-brace. And basically the premise is you're going to be pulling your woven wire from this post here heading that way. So your tension's going to be pulling on the top of this post and the top of this post to want to lean them that way. So when you have this H-brace across here, if you're pushing this one that way, then you would also have to push this one that way. But you have your wire coming down at a diagonal. So for the top of this one to move, the bottom of that post would have to move, which is going to be nearly impossible. And that's what gives it its strength, so that it doesn't pull your posts out of the ground. At least that's our hopes. We're not building an incredibly strong fence here. We're only going to be running some small animals, probably nothing too big. So we're not overly concerned about it, but we want to put up woven wire and we want it to be nice and tight. So hopefully what we're doing will be enough. Jackknife here. We're all right. Just trim. Perfect. All right, so this cutout on the hillside here is what we did yesterday with the Kubota. Might need to widen that corner out just a little bit. I couldn't quite make the turn with the trailer. Things got a little sketchy there, but yeah, we'll get her worked out. Well, that's going to do it for part one of our fence building video. Hope you enjoy what we showed you so far. Be sure and come back with us and watch us finish it up.